hunting is a fun sport. It's more enjoyed when you get together with a few of the TVRs and do a series of circles as tight as you can and as neat as you can. And if you've got a home video, it's more fun to watch afterwards.
It's the exhilaration, the sound, bit of smoke. It's not the cheapest form of sports. It's quite expensive, but it's good. We enjoy it. You get a little bit dizzy, a bit disorientated as to which direction you're pointing in, but it's good.
It's just the noise, the smell of the burning rubber, and seeing your partner next to you doing the same thing.
Peter Wheeler's achievement was to attract a new breed of TVR devotee without alienating the old enthusiasts. He did this by designing the kind of cars that Britain hadn't seen since the 60s.
TVR, for me, epitomises the traditional British hand-built sports car, which is something I've always been looking for ever since I was a teenager, but I haven't been able to find it because they've not been around until just recently.
What you have here is like an assemblage. It's an encyclopedia of sports car motifs, many of them culled from the racing experience of the 50s and 60s. It's scoops and louvres and cutouts and ducts and gutsy flares. Now, certainly, to the deconstructivists, these have a sexual character, but they also evoke that whole tradition of sports car and sports car racing.
Although this retro look has attracted large numbers of women drivers to TVR, it's done little to change its macho image.
I think it is a man's car. It's without sounding sexist, it's certainly got the performance and the drivability. My wife chose the colours of the car, yeah. I have a lot more faith in her colour scheme than I have in mine. She's chosen most of the decor and the colours in the house, and it seems to look all right. So I thought, well, why not give her that privilege of choosing the colours of the car? In fact, that was the deal. I could have the car if she chose the colours.
As soon as you drive along the road, there are people whistling at you, and you get the idiots, but definitely the benefits outweigh the costs. It's a massive penis extension. It's just 5 litres of throbbing fanny magnet. Seeing a girl, and I've been trying to get into her pants for about, I don't know, 6 months. Then I went to a party, and it was an open-air barbecue. I pitched up, and she saw the car, and just clothes disappeared, pretty quickly. And it was grand, Didn't see her again, mind you.
It's not just a car for men. These days, more and more women take their driving very seriously.
I think it's good that women drive TVR cars because obviously there's this myth that it's a man's car and it's a hairy chest car. I have never had any problem driving it, and it's just a shame that there aren't more women that are driving them because they would look so good in them. The sex appeal of this car is the power, it's the thrill, it's the not knowing what's going to happen. It's the handling. It's just that you can feel everything through the steering wheel, and it's just all the power coming out of the back, going around the corners, and just holding on to it. If I thought that driving a TVR was better than the 6, then people would think there was something wrong with me. But if there is anything, this is definitely the next best thing.
The main threat to TVR's newfound success is not macho appeal. It's not yet shaken off its reputation for being difficult to drive, noisy and unreliable.
They do have lots of little teething problems, and if you are an enthusiast, then you shouldn't find it too difficult to acquire the parts and fit them yourself. And it's all part of owning a TVR.
The TVR is an immensely powerful car, but in my experience of driving them, there's a big problem with the power it's got, and that's to say that the potency of the engine is way in front of the technical ability of the suspension to handle it. And what this means is, prod the accelerator and you get the dynamic automotive equivalent of incontinence or indigestion. A very bad case of a car farting, hiccuping and vomiting.
The sound of the engine, I think, was by far one of the major attractions for me, especially when it comes to tunnelling. It's just It just gives you a buzz. So when you're in control of the car, then you know what gear you're going to go for, and you can play with the noises, you can play with the tones.
First time I drove through a tunnel in a TVR, I had a rather large grin across my face. It reminded me of the film The Italian Job, because of course when you get 2 or 3 cars in a tunnel and you drop it down a gear, it sounds superb.
I'd like to think there's a big future for TVR, because certainly they are now the possessors of the British sports car tradition. I mean, if that, and you know, and there is a global taste for that. I mean, United States, Germany, Scandinavia, Japan, wherever people drive cars, there's a select group of people who love big, gutsy, masculine things with big engines which make nice noises and go fast.
There is a good chance that TVR might overreach itself. I mean, they now want to put touch-sensitive doors onto a car like this, where you just knock a little panel, the door springs open. That's all right when you buy the car. Whether in 3 years' time it's still going to work is, I'm sure, going to be something that will plague owners' minds. You know, people who buy these cars will put up with a few small things going wrong, but if they can't get into the car anymore, you know, then they might start to get a bit pissed off.
We have a new car coming out. Well, it's been out for some time, but we're actually starting to deliver it to customers soon, which we've got a very large order bank for. So in terms of the next 2 years, we don't appear to have any problems at all. Long term, I never think long term.
A global